Glasgow knows American football, but not like this. Smaller field, faster game, more action. Football coming straight at you. The Glasgow Tartans take the field on April 18th. Season tickets are on sale now. The International Arena League. Glasgow. You're not ready.
Oh, there you go.
Welcome, everybody. We got two special guests today, Mr. Tom Mitchell and Bennett Johnson, who is the GM of the Glasgow Tartans. How are you guys doing?
Great, man.
Good to be here.
That's good. That's good. So, Mr. Johnson, tell me what you've been up to lately to prepare for the season.
Sure. So, in my tenure as general manager for the Glasgow Tartans, really have spent the past month on the ground in Glasgow in Scotland, working with both the arena itself that we're playing at, the Brayhead Arena, which is currently an ice hockey rink, and they play a AAA hockey team there. So working with transforming that into our space for the summer, starting, as you saw, in April, going all the way through June, July. And the thought there is to, dasher pads, how we're going to transform it, get rid of the glass, what we're going to do about special effects. So a lot of the nuts and bolts on the operations behind the scenes. And then working with the community and getting people educated and informed about arena football. The Brits have known, and there's several several regular season NFL games played there over the past several years, but really getting them understanding and what the difference is between that and what we do. Faster paced game.
God bless you.
Scoring.
Thank you.
Exactly. And so that's really my focus has been.
So that'll prep you for when you're doing some interviews, Bennett, on how not to get sidetracked when somebody walks up behind you in the middle of an interview. Good practice, Brayden.
Yeah. I'm glad I could help. So would you say that, generally speaking, people in Europe are familiar with American football, and how familiar are they? Would you say you meet a lot of fans?
So generally speaking, it is well situated and known in both Europe and in the UK. Now, admittedly, it doesn't have a super strong following. Football's still bigger, rugby's still bigger. There's a lot of other sports that are sort of ahead of football, but it's known, and it's really just getting people sort of re-energized and now telling them that it's, that we're here, that we're in their community, that we have a strong and growing fan base that's out there. We just got to capture them and get them ready for us.
Right. Xander Hines says, "What's up, Tom? Greetings from the Great Eights team." We're glad to have you on, Xander.
I think we got him started this week. He should be wrapping with talking with Saya and Jackie up there. So he's joining the Great Eights team up there.
Right on. That's awesome. Awesome.
He's got
thanks for being part of the live, Xander. We're excited to have you as part of the family. Would you say that people in Europe, the ones that are fans, would you say that they're more fans of arena football or more fans of NFL, the ones that you've talked to?
Oh, most certainly NFL. Most of them don't even know too much about arena football. Some in Germany do, but definitely not in the UK. It's a sort of a whole new sport for them.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I figured. Yeah, because the NFL's been doing games over there for, the past 5-6 seasons, maybe even longer. And so, most of their exposure to American football is going to be the NFL.
Correct.
And
NFL style.
Which is why I think it's so cool that we're bringing the sport of arena football global, is because most people, when they think of football, they think of the outdoor game, but we're getting a chance to expose Europe to the arena game as well. So I think that's pretty cool. What's been your biggest challenge since you've taken the job?
So the biggest challenge really is that sort of education and getting people to understand how different it is and in many ways that it's a lot more similar to a rugby 7 than an NFL. But I think because they know rugby so well, because they know football of it, or American football, I should say, that's really been the hardest part, is really just saying, what our differentiation is, why our value proposition is a lot stronger. That whole fan engagement piece, I think that's really critical in what we do.
Hockey Plum says, bring back the rebound nets. Are we going to have rebound nets, Tom?
Yes, year 2. Year 1, it was too complicated for logistics, I think, for some of the newer arenas. And so
right, okay.
Run deeper and closer to the season, I thought it made more sense to relieve some of the stress of the conversion and of the setup for them. And so, listen, I want the rebound nets 100%. I wanted them this year, but we weren't going to do it in some arenas and not in others.
All right, there's your answer, Hockey Plum. Yeah, second year, you can look forward to that. I know that I've gotten that question before too, and a lot of people, consider that, as an integral part of the sport. So
I do too.
You can look forward, yeah, and Tom does too. Logistically, it's just we had to put it off to year 2. So I would say you could look forward to that in year 2, and we're glad to have you as part of the chat as well. So thank you for your comment. We appreciate it. So Bennett, what was your reaction when you were offered the job, or when you were approached about being the GM of this team?
So to me, it was a first an honor, and I'm glad to be a part of this sort of reinvention and reimagination of arena football, really what it can be and should be. I've spent a lot of time in Europe just professionally, and I spent a lot of time traveling. So I think that sort of my specialty in bridging sort of the U.S. and the U.K. and the European vocabulary together, I think that's really what's exciting for me, and being able to make sure this thing gets off to a strong start and it has a great future.
Michael Klein, our super fan, says, is there already an active fan base for the Glasgow Tartans for fan meetups before the games? The fans in Dusseldorf would love to celebrate with the visiting fans. Do you know if there's already an active fan base for the Glasgow Tartans?
That's a great question. And what I love about our own team is that we actually are the majority of locals, right? So we have a lot of local players, a lot of people from the arena. So there is an active, I wouldn't say, and not as active as we would want. We always want more fans and more, but it's definitely a strong Strahlet base and growing. And the start as the core is obviously the family of the players themselves and their friends and that extended network. And that's really what we're building upon, and getting the word out there and getting faces known and people known. And, that's over the next 3 or 4 weeks. That's all we're really focused on.
That's awesome. That's great to hear. Xander Hines says, Tom, I was wondering if there will be group rates, because I have a few groups that are interested in groups of 15 to 20 fans.
That's a great question. Tell Xander I'll talk to him off and answer that in a little while. We typically don't do a group rate, but if he's got a group that wants to come and it's a special occasion, we'll work with something on. Groups are bigger in some of the bigger leagues. It's just not something that we've had a big focus on, but we'll work with the fans.
Okay, yeah, so there you go. Xander, reach out to Tom, and we'll get that set up. So
Brayden, the interesting thing is, Bennett's been very nice and polite on this, but one of his biggest obstacles, probably his success over there, has been trying to get time to get questions answered in a timely manner. He does a good job of trying to learn arena football and bring that to the fans and the citizens over in Glasgow. And sometimes, our time difference creates some communication gaps. And so I think he's done a really good job with the resources we put in front of him and the tools we put in front of him. And I think that I believe that we're going to start seeing it grow. And there's a big event coming up there, I think, in a week or two, right, Bennett, with a BOGO night for season ticket holders.
Yes.
For season ticket buys. And so I think they're going to do an event over at the arena during one of the hockey games, like we started doing. I think we're doing it right now in England, and it's having a great success in England right now. I think he'll have a great success because the more that we can educate people on what it is, what we're bringing there, who's playing, who the players are, the more we can talk to people face to face, the quicker it's going to grow, the quicker it's going to gain some attention. And I think the fans are really going to love it when they hear, that we focus on entertainment, that they're watching some of their own players that they've grown up watching. I think they have a player over there. I could be wrong, but I think there's a player named Stewart that is a pretty well-known player. And so I think that will, I think that'll be a big deal. So I think that there'll be some things coming that will make a big change for them.
Yeah. So tell us about the BOGO night. Tell us about that, and fans that are listening from Glasgow, tell us more about that so they know how to go and get their tickets.
Sure. So we're the first phase is the upcoming hockey game on Sunday, so the 22nd of March. During that hockey game, so in the arena itself that we're going to be playing, we will have a BOGO sort of tent or table set up, and several people out there promoting, and several players, as Tom just mentioned. I think getting to know the players, getting to know, we got Stewart, we got Scott, we got Mark, a lot of good locally well-known folks that will be there to help represent the team and get people to know who their team is and get them excited about what's going on. So yeah, that's the BOGO at the event itself, at the hockey game itself.
Awesome. So Tom tells me that you're from Chicago, right?
Yes.
But you've officially moved over to Glasgow?
Yes, we are working through all the wonderful relocation and housing and new banking and all that sort of fun stuff that we got going on over there. So,
what's been like the biggest culture shock moving from one country to another?
So the biggest culture shock in Scotland in particular is probably the accents. I don't know if you ever have heard a Glaswegian accent, but it's pretty thick, and it's different than an Edinburgh accent. So it's Scotland, and it's different from other places, very similar to America, where you have the Southerners versus the West Coast versus the East Coast. They all have their own style of English, and it's the same thing in Scotland too. So it's actually helpful sometimes to have a local player with you who can translate. Even it's the same language, base language is English. It's just not quite the same. So,
I've noticed the same thing too. When you hear English people talk, you can tell if they're from the country or from the city, depending on how their accent sounds. And I suppose it's the same with the United States as well. There's the Southern accent, there's the Northeastern, Boston accent, there's the New York accent.
100%.
I've even been told I have a mountain accent, so I don't know if that's true or not. But I grew up always in Utah, so I've been back east, and they said I have a mountain accent. So I don't think I do, but who knows? Besides putting the team together, tryouts, and all of that, have you had the chance to host any fan meetups or do any promotional work?
So we are just getting started on our promotional work, both in person and through social media. So that's really something we are gearing up right now in the second. It's sort of kicking off and starting with the BOGO, but even before that, like we had our commercial has been out there. It was at the hockey game last week. And so building upon that momentum, building upon that, as you saw, I hope everybody liked the commercial. We think it's great. And, we think it's going to generate a lot of interest about what we're going to bring to Glasgow.
Everybody.
Hockey Plum says, will there be 1 minute timing rules in the final minute of each half, meaning the team with the ball has to gain positive yards to keep the clock running?
Yes.
Yes. There you go. Yeah. So it will be traditional arena rules, it sounds like, for the most part. So yeah, there's your answer, Hockey Plum. Thanks for the question. That was a really good question.
Listen, this league's built around football. Every team gets a good quarterback, just like in the NFL. We're not our RPO. We're not a one-pass option league. We're old school, drop back, throw the ball, and throw it quick. Otherwise, you're going to get, it's not going to end up for you if you don't.
So Mr. Bennett, have you done any scouting or any evaluating talent or anything like that?
Sure. So luckily for me, I have an awesome coach, Coach Phil Garcia, who's been played football for many years and actually has played arena football and football in general throughout internationally, but definitely in Europe a lot. So he had a very strong network to find talent, build talent. We had a great tryout on the 1st, so the beginning of this month, and we were able to pick up 3 or 4 new players just from that alone. So it's the talent there, as I said, as well as he explains to me, since I'm not the the coach nor the football genius. But the things that Europeans have over Americans is that their base is grounded in soccer and rugby, meaning that their footwork and their stamina tends to be great. They usually have to bulk up a little bit. They usually have to, the whole hitting piece. I mean, for rugby, actually, that helps as well. But their footwork tends to be amazing.
So you've gotten a lot of European players that have already been signed to the team?
Yes, we've been practicing for the past couple of weeks.
That's awesome. And where do you guys just practice at the arena or what?
No, because it's currently still hockey season, and getting basically the timing of getting that arena ready for us to play in didn't quite work out. But so there's a bunch of indoor soccer fields that are available. So we use one right now, and we've been practicing a couple times every week with strength training and all that fun stuff and drills.
Okay, awesome. And so you guys had open tryouts, right?
Yes.
Okay, and when was that?
The 1st of March.
The 1st of March, okay. And how did that go as far as the type of talent that showed up? Did you get a lot of college age kids, or was it like older players that were looking for a second chance?
So interesting, good question. It was a mix. So we had 20ish or so folks come for the tryout, and it was a very broad range. So not too many straight college kids. It was more sort of right out of college in that 22, 23 age range. But we did have, our oldest player there that I saw who gave it his all and really tried, but then had a hamstring issue. But nevertheless, he was about, let's say, late 30s.
Oh, wow. Okay.
No,
okay.
To your point, he wanted a second chance. He loved football. He was like, dude, I'm going to make this happen.
The Rockers, their quarterback, Arvell Nelson, he's 37, and he has a ton of experience as far as the arena game goes. So, you do see those older players that are looking to, have a second chance. And also the benefit is they get to mentor the younger players as well. So did you end up signing that guy or not?
No, unfortunately not. But we did. We got a gentleman who I think is 30. So
30. Okay. Yeah. It's good to have veteran
Let's hear about Stewart. I want to hear about Stewart.
So Stewart is one of our big defensive guys so our 3 main, what I would call our poster children or poster players. Thank you. Sorry about that. So we have Stewart, we have Mark, and we have Sean. And they are all local in Glasgow, all well-known, all have their own sort of history in the sport itself. And so they're bringing a lot to the team, and they are great kids, sorry, I keep calling kids, great players and great people as well.
That's great.
We have a chat from Mike Shea. He says, sorry if this has already been asked and answered. I just hopped on. Any news on availability of streaming games and cost to watch if it's not free? Thanks in advance.
It will be free. We're not going on a paid subscription site. We started moving in a really strong direction this week, and you will be able to see the games that will not be paid. We'll have some on that.
So there you go. Yeah, it'll be free to stream, and we're just kind of working towards getting that set up. So I had one more question for you, Bennett. It slipped to my mind, though. I had it in my head. The question was, did you get a lot of rugby players that showed up? Because I know over in Europe, rugby's a little bit more popular than it is here. And I've watched rugby, and it's brutal. The violence is crazy. Did you get a lot of rugby players that
yes,
showed
we did,
up?
actually. That was probably the major sport that we got folks from was rugby. And they, as I heard one say the other day, I'm just happy to hit people again.
Yeah.
So he was excited.
Yeah, it's a brutal sport. So was it hard to kind of teach them the rules of football, or to get them acclimated, I should say, to playing football rather than rugby.
Yeah, and that is part of the education, not simply, as I said, sort of to the broader audience about the differences between the various sports and arena football. But to your point, exactly, the players themselves, new rules, new types, in some ways, new style of playing. In rugby, as you've seen, they don't even wear equipment, right? So that's outside of cleats. And so it's also different in that expense. People have to get a better feel for the equipment and how it wears and the weight of it, and how to play with it.
So Brayden,
yeah, and it's pretty interesting.
Brayden, hold on a second, real quick. We got a question in here, and this is a good one. It's a statement. Watching from Nottingham, England, excited for the new season and watching the Eruptors. So I just have a question for Matt. Matt, are you at the hockey game tonight, taking advantage of the promotion they're doing at the arena right now? Because the team is at the arena and offering buy one get one season tickets, and it's actually doing very well. So as I'm talking here, I'm getting notes coming back from Nottingham from what's going on there. So you might want to jump over there and meet the team and take advantage of the ticket promotion going on. Go ahead.
Yeah, and thanks for the chat, Matt. We appreciate you, and I really think that England and Glasgow could have a fun rivalry just due to proximity. So I think that you should look out for that for sure. So Bennett, man, I had something in my head, but I can't. Sorry.
No worries. But actually, I'm going to follow up on that one thing you just mentioned. So yeah, our first the season opener of the league itself is Glasgow versus Nottingham, and yes, they are, though relatively close. We expect that to be a very strong rivalry, as sort of middle of England versus Scotland type of play. So
right on. Yeah, and bringing it back to transitioning from rugby to football. Like you said, they don't wear pads, and it's kind of interesting because the last 10 or so years, you've been hearing a lot about CTE and how they're trying to make football more safe and stuff. And then you have these rugby guys that they don't wear any pads, helmets, nothing. And so it's just kind of interesting just to see the toughness that they have, and to bring that over to football, I think is going to be an asset. Just the toughness and the hard-nosed discipline that comes with rugby, to bring that over to our league is gonna be fun. We have a few chats to read. Hockey Plum says, I was thinking about rooting for the Rockers, but since I'm from Northern AZ, I'm going to be rooting for the Juggernauts. Yeah, the Juggernauts are a good team, and they've been signing players like crazy. Coach OTB, he's been going crazy, and I think that they're going to be a strong team in year number one. Of course, I run the Rockers podcast, Rockers Unplugged, for those of you who don't know. So I am partial to the Rockers, but what I will say is that I do think the Juggernauts are going to be a really good team as well. Michael Klein says, will we be able to get a glimpse of the team's jerseys at the test match in Stuttgart, or will they be playing in training gear? I'm guessing the Glasgow Tartans will be among them. That's a question for Tom.
They'll be in training gear. They're not releasing the jerseys for that. They'll be in training gear for their games.
Yeah, so there you go. Yeah,
and listen,
we will be there. Glasgow.
Follow up on that. That game is open to the public. They're not selling tickets for the March 27th. That's open to the public. So if you're over in Germany and you want to go to the game, you can go to Saller Hall and watch the game. It's open to the public. We're not
there you go. Yeah, and it's essentially a preseason game, free admission. Yeah. You can go in and get a glimpse of the IAL football in action. And I don't know how close Stuttgart is to you, Michael, but I think you should go for sure. We'd love to have you there. You're our super fan, so you should show up.
Yeah, I'll respond to this next one. This is a very interesting question. The bottom line is, Samuel, does someone want us to comment on the state of the Glasgow Tartans social media? You have an AI-generated everything, no player signings. Well, first of all, we don't have AI-generated everything. We actually have footage from some of the documentary and players and staff. Very little promotion of this. We have price tickets higher than Scottish Premier League. I'll explain the rationale. Well, the rationale is we have had the expenses bringing a professional sports team to Scotland, and we look at building a professional team more. We think that the fans are going to enjoy the entertainment aspect. Listen, when you Premier football, I think, be there for competition, and I think it's a great base. It's been there for hundreds of years. When you come to a Glasgow Tartan game, you expect to see a lot more value for your money, and you probably should focus a lot more on entertainment. These are professional athletes that we're paying much higher. I think the BAFTA League pays, and the leagues are paying their players. So we have costs, but I think we provide a great value. I think we continue to educate the fans of Scotland. I think they're really going to. And so, to be honest with you, we're the lowest price ticket of every five over here. And I think we're a great value, and we've priced out certain promotions to take advantage of those promotions.
Tom, I don't know if it's just on my end, but you sound like really, really quiet. I don't know if it's the same for you, Tom, or for you, Bennett, but does he sound quiet for you?
He's a little choppy occasionally.
Yeah. I'm not
but
sure.
I also want to follow up.
I want to make sure
Yeah. On another question you had. Yeah, our social media, we are really focused over the next couple of weeks just to do that on the content side. So get that out there, get a lot more player bios, a lot more player backgrounds. That's really our goal, to make sure that is a lot more robust, and you will be pleasantly surprised over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think what we had to do is, I think it was important to try to get the infrastructure set, get some certain things set up. Listen, we're building a sports league for the next 10, 20, 30 years. We're not building it for the first game. And so I think there's a lot of pieces that have to get put in place. There's logistically, you have to do certain things to build sustainability. And now we're starting to put those pieces in place to get out and educate the fans and talk to them about everything. Listen, the team, he just surprised me when I talked to him, is that they've got a lot of players signed already. And so I'm really happy with the job that Bennett and Coach Garcia are doing over there, signing all the players, local players, teaching them the game of arena football. Again, we're building a sport over there. We're not bringing a sport over there. We're building it. And so there's a lot of pieces there. But we do have a fantastic social media team that has added some of their attention to Glasgow to really try to help start pushing things. I think the first big promotion, Bennett, when is the hockey game night?
It's Sunday, the 22nd.
Sunday night. You can go to the arena if you're at the hockey game. We're going to have representatives there, and it's buy one, get one. So season tickets are half price that night. In that event. So it gives you a chance to get out there and take a look at it. As far as some of these other questions, single game tickets I think went on sale for a lot of the places. And I think all next week you'll start to see single game tickets for game one only. We did a special promotion where we're going to release single game tickets for game one only, let people go and sit and experience arena football and get to see what it is, and then make a decision. And then if you want those same seats for the rest of the season, you'll be able to pick up those same seats the rest of the season.
Right on. There you go. Hockey Plum says, this is an odd question, but will the turf be green for all the teams? Mainly asking because some teams have done gray or red turf, which look ugly.
Yeah, we have standard colors. So in year one, it is green. And so it's the same turf across the league. The only difference is, and it's a big difference, is in Europe, the fields are actually wider than they are in the U.S. And so because over there they use Olympic-sized hockey rinks as opposed to NHL-sized hockey rinks. So it's slightly different. It creates a different home field advantage. When we go over there, Europe's going to have a home field advantage, bigger. And when they come over here, I think the U.S. teams are going to have a bigger home field advantage because of it. But it's just the width of the field is just slightly different. Outside of that, it's all standard color.
Yeah, not to mention the dimensions are slightly different over there in the UK because they don't use yards like we do, and so obviously they measure differently. So that makes sense that would be a little bit different as far as the width goes. Michael Klein says, I think the IAL will be a complete success, and it's a real shame that many people still have doubts. I'm really looking forward to the start on April 18th in Dusseldorf.
That's a great statement. Thank you, Michael. What's funny is, to be honest with you, Bennett is in our next office over. He flew in. He's in town, and we're doing this interview with him here. He's actually been around to meet the staff. He's been able to meet the staff, and he's been able to see the other Rockers office. Listen, we have a big operation here. I mean, we're still growing. Every week we're adding people. We're growing and growing and growing. at over 10,000 square feet corporate office here in Vegas and offices in other markets across the country and adding them in Europe. We're growing every week. We're excited. Our fan base is growing every week. We have to continue building and educating. Listen, there's not much we can do with people that still want to have doubts. I think we have incredible fans already, and I think they're going to help spread the word. And I think come, April 20th, 2 days after opening game, everybody's going to be talking about what happened over the weekend. Because they're going to get to see the entertainment factor. They're going to get to see guys that are great athletes run around playing arena football. They're going to get to meet the staff, the players. And it's just going to be, I think it's going to be a huge success in each one of the markets. And so, we're 4.5 weeks away. We have a lot of work to do. But every day is a building process, and every day we just keep getting better and better. So I just think I agree with Michael 100%, and I appreciate the confidence, Michael.
Will that practice game be streaming, or is it not going to be streamed?
Well, we're trying to get something going over in Germany. So there's a big question. The app won't be ready to stream the games for March 27th. So we have some backup options to stream them, and I'll probably have an announcement next week on that. So tune in next week to be able to find out what happens on March 27th and the best way to watch that if you're not there.
Sounds good. Hockey Plum says a follow-up to that, because some of the arenas overseas like Glasgow house hockey teams, will the end zone be rounded or squared?
We're using traditional hockey layout, so everything's rounded. So I would say the biggest difference between us and the original Arena Football League is that our end zones are rounded, and this year we're just not using the rebound nets, but we'll bring them back. I think the rule book, we went right back to what everybody wanted to do, which was 2006, 7, and 8 type of rules where, you're airing it out. We keep 2 linebackers in the box and reduce their side to side, the depth that they can go, which makes it a passing league. It's a lot more man-on-man coverages and man-on-man on defensive line, offensive line kind of thing. So you're going to see a lot of what you saw in 06, 07, and 08, except, like I said, I think the biggest difference is rounded end zones. But I really like what we fell on with the rule book. It went back and forth between the referees, head of referees, and it went back and forth between the league, the head of referees, and then we had the players and coaches jump in and give their thoughts. And I think we came up with a really great rule book and a set that's going to create high scoring action, some great collisions, because people still want to see those collisions that they used to see. We're still going to go through 30, 40 footballs a game. What I can tell you is our footballs came out this week, and everybody is stoked about the footballs because we didn't go with one of the competitors' type of balls. We went with a more traditional leather, great look to it, professional leather football that I think the fans are going to love getting to keep and catch and put in their souvenir cases. So I just like the way that the IAL is moving. Bennett's learned a lot in the last month being over there. We've had a good chance to talk a little bit today. We walked him around outside, and he's seeing some of the stuff that we're getting ready for this weekend. We got dasher pads out there getting ready, getting prepped for this weekend's IAL tryout, getting ready to roll out the turf in 2 days in Las Vegas. So when you look at all this, there's always going to be doubters, but they just don't know me and they don't know our staff. So they can doubt and they can say whatever they want. But I can tell you, people like Michael and the fans like Matt and Michael and Hockey Plum, they're going to be ecstatic on April 20th of what they got to see over the weekend.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I know that there's a lot of people that are doubting, but I can tell you from what I know, Tom's one of the most hardworking guys around, and he's one of the most smart guys around too. So this thing it's going to be a success. And I know that a lot of people have questions, and that's to be expected, but this thing will be a success. Just give it time and just have faith.
Listen, we got a lot of great fans out there. The funny, it's funny. Listen, I know you mentioned Arizona, and I agree. Jason's going to have a squad out there. People, listen, there's a guy out in Pennsylvania that's done this a lot, and they got one of the most experienced coaches out there in Pennsylvania. They got one of the best players in the league out in Pennsylvania. You got a team in Cincinnati, and I'll tell you what, King knows what he's doing. Coach King knows what he's doing. And they got McCollum, one of the most experienced quarterbacks. You got Saya up in Utah. I mean, you got some stuff over here, and so the U.S. conference is going to be very interesting. And talking with I talk with these coaches and these GMs on a daily basis, whether it's in Europe or here. Listen, there's a lot of interesting dynamics in this league. Talib, the coach over in Zurich played at a very high level in arena football. He knows the game in and out, and he knows a lot of the secrets of arena football. And he's building something from scratch in Zurich. I wouldn't overlook him. You got Garcia, Coach Garcia up in Glasgow, who played in China League in arena football. You got Coach Hilson in Stuttgart, who played against one of my teams back 15 years ago. The funny thing is, the pads that are outside, he played in the game where those pads were being used. I mean, you got a lot of these things, and you got Brandon, who's a very intelligent guy up in Dusseldorf. And I can tell he's going to be a lot more strategic than a lot of people give him credit for. There's a lot of stories in this league in year one, and we continue to add pieces. We just add a gentleman, and people are going to get to know him. We just brought in a guy from Monument, a guy that came from Tampa Bay Storm many years. He was the director of sponsorships over in Tampa Bay. Added him this week. We added another guy that was a GM of an IFL team last year, and he's coming over to the IAL. We added the director of, the big pull was probably Tom Fontanelli as the director of officiating out of the IFL. We pulled him over. He's now the director of officiating for IAL to make sure that these games are officiated professionally, and we have professional teams, and we're training these guys professionally over in Europe. We're doing some big things. And so I don't know who would look at this from the outside and not see the investment that we're putting into this, the time that we're putting into this, the firms that we're working with to make sure that the employee agreements get done properly, that the players have insurance properly. The stuff that we're doing, we're prepping for year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're building a phenomenal league. This, as I continue to say, this office is growing leaps and bounds every week. And our infrastructure is growing leaps and bounds every week. And our guys work really hard. I'm not the only guy working hard. Our guys put in a lot of time here. And they get given tasks last minute by me daily that say we have this has to be done yesterday, and we find ways to get it done. So people that want to doubt us, you're not just doubting me, you're doubting a team, and that team has a belief and an enthusiasm. And so you're just doubting the wrong people, because we have a chip on our shoulder, and we're going to continue to build this for the fans. And I am the biggest fan that I know of in arena football. So I appreciate all the fans, but I'm going to be the biggest one for the IAL. I can tell you that.
So Matt says he wants to know, Tom, who he can get in touch with to be possibly a play-by-play or color commentator, either remotely or in the arenas in the UK. Is
this Nottingham again? So we put him in contact. So if he sent an email, I think it's info@ialfootball.com. If he sent an email in there, we'd probably send it over to Alonzo, who's the GM over in Nottingham, and he's helping us pull those positions.
There you go, Matt. So just info@ialfootball.com would be where you want to reach out to. So yeah, that's about all the questions I had for Bennett. I don't know if you had anything else, Tom.
Well, what are your thoughts, Bennett, after seeing the home office? The first time you've been here?
It was great, actually, to your point, meeting all the people and the both office size and the busyness and everybody working hard. I think, to your point, we got a lot of great grinders here who are passionate about the team, or about the league, and about their own various teams. And so I think I'm definitely impressed and glad to be a part of it.
Yeah, I think, and over the next couple of weeks, we'll probably have a couple more on with Brayden as well. We'll start. I think we had Casey on last week, and he's back at doing his thing. We just actually approved some hats for team merchandise and stuff. And so, colorless penguin. I'm not sure if you understand how ticket money works, but those go into an escrow account most of the time here in the U.S. So if you're those go into an escrow account and don't get released until after we play the games. So listen, these questions are all coming from previous bad experiences in arena football, and I had some very good ones. I was lucky enough to be part of some very good rebuilds in the old Arena Football League, and got to see some positive in arena football. But the answer to your question is, it's very simple, yes.
Yeah, so it'll just be in an escrow account, and you will get a refund for the games that have not been played. So we appreciate your honest question, Colorless Penguin, and thanks for the inquiry.
Is this Colorless Penguin? Are you U.S. based or are you Europe based?
Yeah, that would be good to know.
Yeah, things are different in the U.S. and in Europe for a lot of things. But
just like most things,
as some of our coaches would know, and as some of our players would know. And speaking of that, Bennett, we got some imports over there right now, don't we?
Yes, we do. We have 3 right now, 1 from Canada, 2 from the U.S., and we're expecting a couple more. Well, yeah, a couple more in a couple weeks. But they're excited. They just got in there literally this weekend. So they're, to your point about acclimatizing themselves to a different country and different accents and different customs, they are right in the thick of it right now.
Absolutely. I mean, again, we've got American players that we've flown over, and they're in camps already, right? They're already over there in camps. We got them in housing, whether they're in hotels or Airbnbs. We got them. So we flew them over during the week, and we got more going over next week. So I think people need to understand we're building a professional sports league in arena football, and we're doing it across the globe.
So Colorless Penguin says he's in the U.S.
Yeah. So how are you going to feel in a couple weeks, Brayden, with when you see Utah kick off and when you see Las Vegas kick off? They're both playing.
I'm so excited.
They're both playing open weekend.
Yeah. No, I'm so excited. I cannot wait. I would like to attend the Las Vegas game in person.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that I can rearrange my 9 to 5 work schedule and kind of hopefully be able to come to that. But either way, I'm going to be streaming the game. I'm going to be watching. I'm super excited for this thing to kick off. I've been excited for 4 months now.
You got to be at the opening game. I mean, it's going to be an event, and I'm not letting the big secret out of the bag, but Hollywood's going to be Hollywood.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say. Hollywood's going to be Hollywood.
I can definitely arrange it so that I can be there. I'll after the stream, Tom, I'll call you because there's some other stuff I wanted to talk to you about. But I would love to come. I would love to come. And the thing about it is, I've been excited ever since I became a part of the IAL. I've been excited for kickoff for opening day. I'm pretty much counting down the days at this point.
Yeah. Listen, we're all counting down the days. I'll be happy when I'm standing there watching kickoff, and and as long as everybody's having a good time and the fans are having a good time, that's why we're doing this. Just want to get back out and have a good time like we used to at the old arena football games.
Yeah, and I'm excited to get my merch. I'm going to be rocking the Las Vegas merch almost every day if I can, and I'm super excited. I think everybody is super excited about it.
So I'm looking at this. Yeah, this is listen, this is I'm gonna start at Durning. We get a lot of these type of responses because they've been through these other leagues or been through this or been through that. Listen, we keep saying that the marketing campaigns are starting. The team is selected. We've got players. We've got a good squad up there. Coach is already teaching them. Coach is coaching them. They're playing, and they're starting to get out in the community. I think the biggest thing that we need to do is 2 things. Is we got to get out in the community. I think we got to get out in the schools more. And so I think Ben and I will talk about that. The coach, the players need to get out in the schools more and kind of start, letting the fans see them and notice them more, and just talking to them and explaining exactly what arena football is. So I think that'll, will change a lot of that. But anybody that remembers arena football from 06, 07, 08, those days when 12,000 people used to go to the games and high energy, high impact, collisions in the game, and footballs flying around and great music and pyrotechnics and everything that went into it back then. That's what you should expect, because that's what I expect, right? And so the number one person that they have to impress is me for every game. And so that's the way we're going to build these game ops.
Hockey Plum says, as a fan of the old Las Vegas Gladiators during the Orleans Arena and Thomas and Mack years, will there be some folks from the AFL era involved with the new Vegas team or the IAL as a whole?
Well, some of the shows have already, listen, we've had some of the guys from back then on. So actually, Talib played in the old Rattlers, right? And Saya, I mean, you're talking about Saya, one of the all-time greats, is coaching. And we've had other players on. And I think we had Scotty Coleman on. I believe Hunky Cooper came on once or twice. One of the all-time greats. Gatewood came on the show.
Gatewood, I got to interview Gatewood, and that was a very fun interview.
Gatewood's one of the all-time greats in Arizona. He's beloved by the Arizona fans of arena football. So the answer is yeah. Listen, I think we're doing this the right way, and I think they see that, and they like what we're building. And in the end, we just got to go out there and put on a show. The players are going to have a great time, and I tell, my job is what happens outside the boards during the game days. The coach's job is what happens inside the boards. My job is, to oversee what happens outside the boards, and that's that's the fan experience, and that's to make sure that functions properly, because that's really what arena football is kids catching footballs, fans catching footballs, meeting the players after the game, getting autographs. Listen, I tell everybody there's something to the autograph session that goes highly overlooked. So you catch a football, it goes back to when I was a kid. Go catch a football and you get to go down and throw it around with your son on the field after the game, and your daughter on the field after the game. I mean, there's a tradition there. There's an experience there that the parents love, and so that's missing right now. And it's something that used to be a focus, and so it's the way it's even that I think is being mismanaged out there. And so I just think the stuff that we're going to do is going to be bring this back to the fans, bring this back to the communities. Listen, the International Arena League is to find out at the end of the year. I think it's really cool. We have to find out who the best in the world is every year, right? And so these are really your teams. Glasgow, this is your team. You get Stewart is one of the main pieces. There's only 3 imports over there. The rest of the players are from Scotland. In England, this is your team. You get 3 imports. The rest are from England. These are your teams. And you got to understand that. And so the more that we get out in the communities, and now that the players are in camp, I think there's also a misunderstanding of how long camps are. Arena football, most camps are no longer than 2.5 weeks. Players come in shape. A lot of them are ready to go, and they just got to learn that system. Whereas in Europe, we gave them a couple extra weeks because they're trying to learn a new system. They're trying to learn a new sport. And so we've given them a couple extra weeks. But typically the players aren't there, until now when they're getting there. And so we haven't been able to get them into the schools, out to the youth sports to do that. You will see them across the league out dealing with the youth a lot more late March, early April, and then into the season. I mean, that's a big plus of really what arena football is supposed to be and what the IAL is. This weekend, I can tell you over in Las Vegas, not only do we have a tryout at the arena, Hollywood and Mark are out at a local youth event this weekend, talking to youth and dealing with a lot of youth and, getting some tickets out to them for opening game. So, you're going to start to see a lot more of that, and they've got to get in the schools. They've got to get out in the youth sports, and it doesn't have to be football. They can go talk to all youth, whether it's basketball, rugby. You brought up rugby, and really quick on a quick side note, I went to a rugby game a few years back in Denver, and I've always had in the back of my mind, how would these guys fare in football, because they can make tackles without pads and not get hurt. So their technique is incredible. And I would love to see a couple guys that are really good at rugby come out and join these squads overseas. I think they would adapt to it very quickly, and I think they do really well in arena football. But I think that we're doing all the right things. There's steps in place. We're starting to do our ticket promotions. We're starting to get guys out and get notoriety and meet in the communities. So I think you'll start to see a lot more of that.
Yeah, for sure. I couldn't agree more. So yeah, that's about all I got as far as questions go for Tom and Bennett. Is there anything else you guys want to say?
Just one last follow-up to Tom's conversation and Samuel's last comment. Yeah, Samuel, just go ahead, as noted, reach out to info@ialfootball.com, and they'll connect you with me, and we can work on some options for Scotland. And to Tom's point, we think that interaction with the youth is critical and very, very important to us. So.
Yeah, it would be awesome to, have that connection. So info@ialfootball.com, Samuel. We look forward to you reaching out.
Oh, another fun day, guys.
Yeah, Hey, thank you guys for the live. I had a lot of fun today, and thank you everyone who, asked questions in the chat. We appreciate all of you. There's one last question maybe Tom can answer. What is the salary structure for your players?
Yeah, they get paid to play and paid to win. So
there you go.
Everyone's paid across the board the same. There is no salary negotiations, no pay negotiations. They get paid when they play, and they get paid the highest, I believe, of any of my competitors. I believe we're the highest in indoor arena football. Paid to play, paid to win. So we want them to win. I'm a sales and marketing background, and I believe in rewarding results. And so they get paid to win, and then there's a big prize at the end for the teams that make the playoff and win the championship. The $2 million.
There you go. Yeah, paid to play and paid to win. We love it.
Yep.
Can't wait for the season to start. You and me both, Hockey Plum. I can't wait for the season to start either. I'm counting down the days.
Fantastic. Thank you, Brayden.
Yeah. Hey, thank you,
Thanks,
Bennett.
everyone.
Thank you, Tom.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, you guys have a nice day.
Bye.